Hello and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. Today I am welcoming Kris Rice. Welcome, Kris, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, I love that I can just see this warm heat and it's radiating through to me. You're all the way from Oregon on the West Coast, and it's it was about 2:50 p.m. on Tuesday, and your summer and it's our winter here in Australia. So, I'm feeling all that warmth whilst I've got my heat up blasting at like 27 degrees. So, Kris,
Oh,
that's not what we're here to talk about. I am super excited to talk about your business and what you're doing in terms of what I like to call the active recovery space, but you're the founder and CEO of ChillPod, and it's a premium, what I understand, a premium cold plunge system, and it's designed to support and help busy, and I don't know about you, I don't love the term busy, but busy professionals or professionals who
yeah.
don't have the time, especially high achieving women, to reset and recharge their nervous system, boost their energy, and build that resilience through scientifically backed, accessible cold exposure routines, which is becoming such a hot topic. You empower individuals to integrate rituals like cold immersion into daily life, to integrate wellness or their whole being, performance, and self-care. When I went onto your website and checked it all out and saw sold out, I was like, wow, this is quite a fascinating, amazing chill pod. I love the name as well. And so
Thank
tell
you.
us all
I do
about it.
too, but I'm biased.
Oh, I love it. It's just, and then you look at it and it's just gorgeous. I shouldn't say little, but it's just like, oh yeah, that's
I
totally
always say that too. I'm like, it's the cutest little pod. And you always do this with your hands. Like, that's what I always do too.
okay. Because I was
It's
like,
just a little pod.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
here I am before we're on the pod, before we hit record, and I'm like, can you get these in Australia? Like, you're just like, we'll just hold on that for a second, because I'm like, I want it in Australia. It looks I could just see it fitting so nicely in my place. But
I
tell us all
know.
about it. How did you come into this? Like, yeah, what was your whole, just tell us all about it.
Yeah. Well, I certainly didn't like jump on the cold plunge bandwagon. Like it was nothing that sounded appealing to me from the start. So, like a click back from that, I have two young girls. They're now a teen and a tween, but um, back when my oldest daughter was younger, she had a lot of mental health struggles. And so as she had that, I really helped her find different ways to support her well-being. And most of those tended to be more on the alternative wellness spectrum. She was really young, so I was trying to not have to go for a medication and what else could we
Yeah.
do? And as I was supporting her, it was really this moment of like a mirror for myself, of my own level of anxiety and overwhelm and just not being able to get above or flush out the stress in my life. It just wasn't possible. And so I went on this path for her, and then I went on this path for myself of really trying to find what could work, like what could help me feel better and more grounded and, to lose some of the stress that I was carrying around and would just continue to build. And so I discovered meditation and I absolutely loved it. I uncovered like breath work and all of these things, which remain amazing, but take a ton of time. And
Yeah.
so my problem was I got to this place where I was like, super, I know all these things to help me feel great. And it literally would take me an entire workday to complete them all. Like it's just not even feasible. So I honestly think it was just from a place of desperation that I was talking to a friend and she was like, I really think you should try cold plunging. And I was like, nope, do not want to. Sounds terrible. No, thank you.
That's exactly
And
what I thought.
so she tried again for like a couple more times. And I really think it was just like nothing to lose. And so that afternoon, I was talking to her and I was like, fine, I'll do it. And so I went and like didn't tell anyone and bought a horse trough online and I waited for it to arrive and I was like I literally didn't tell anyone even in my home because I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this in secret. Nobody has to know about it. And if I can't do it again, that's fine because nobody knew. So, um, the reality was I did it one time and was like, I've never felt this good. And so I would literally, the chill pod was born in that little trough because I would sit in there and imagine how could this be different? Like the end result is amazing, but this experience of sitting in a horse trough is not cool. So how do I, if I was somebody else, what would I want? And that was born from there.
Oh, wow. And tell me, the first time you were in the horse trough, how long did you last in it? Like, was it a minute? Was it like, first, if this is your first experience in cold plunge,
Yeah.
how long did you last?
Yeah, good question. So it was like springtime here, so it was the hose water was still relatively cold. So I literally knew nothing like how to cool it off at all. I just literally put hose water in. So if I had to guess, it was like probably about 55 or 60-degree water. So on the higher side of the cold plunge. And I say that because I lasted 7.5 minutes.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm gonna turn on this song, and I know this song is like 2.5 minutes. Best case, I make it the whole time. And that song came and went, and I was like, I'm fine. I'm just gonna sit here for a little bit longer. And I stayed longer and longer. And all that to say, it is certainly not like sign of success that you stay in the longest, but I am proud that I did that the first time.
Yeah, amazing. And so you have your first experience. What changed in you though? Like what fundamentally changed when you
Yeah.
think about like nervous system, that boost of energy. You've been doing meditation, you've been
Hmm.
doing all the things, and then you do
Hmm.
this. Like what was it that
Yeah.
like you went, this is it sort of thing, and now this is my mission to
Hmm.
bring this to life and help others, especially women. Yeah, what was it?
Yeah. That's a good question. So I remember the first little while, like probably first couple of months, every time I would get out of the plunge, I just remember feeling like I literally hit a reset button. So I felt happy, like I was smiling more and I just felt more at ease. And so I think that first bit of time was like literally giving me those dopamine spikes. And I was like, I don't know even what to do with this. Like I feel so good. And so that certainly kept me doing it. And then as I kept doing it, I saw the parallels between meditation because like best case in my meditations, I literally am in the present moment, but also kind of like out of my body, right? Like both are sort of happening at the same time. And so what I love about cold plunging is like in that moment, if it's really cold, you really can't be anywhere in your mind other than in that water. And that level of presence is what I love. And I think why I love meditation and cold plunging so much because you just quiet out everything else and you're there and you're listening to your intuition in that moment. And for me, that's like the secret sauce behind it is like that conversation you're having with yourself of, what do I need right now? Do I need to stay? Do I need to go? Do I need to adjust my body? Like, what do I need? And in daily life, that can be much harder for me to listen to that. But in that, there's nothing else. Like, it's just me and maybe music and just that exact moment. So that's why I think it's just such a incredible practice.
Yeah, quite an incredible practice and disciplined. Would you say it's disciplined as well? Like once
Yeah.
you kind of get into it, it's like because it's cold, right? Like I was just saying to you
Yep.
before we hit record, I love infrared, and when I went through my burnout experience, the first thing that my doctors and my wellness and career coach said to me was, you need to be actively recovering, and the first thing I said was
Yeah.
infrared, cold plunge.
Hmm.
I was more
Yep.
into the infrared because it was kind of coming into the
Yeah.
thick of winter. But that was an
Yep.
automatic for me. My nervous system felt like it went from like up here, like so up here.
Hmm.
It was like, oh, what is this? Like you say. Um,
Yeah.
but but then and then I did the cold plunge and then I popped an ear, like got an ear infection. So that kind of because
Oh
I
no.
put myself into the ocean. I didn't actually hop into a trough or anything like that, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
discipline, right? Like, it's that,
It is.
especially when it's cold because it's different with
It
heat. I love heat. So,
Totally. Like, I think most people can talk themselves into heat much easier. And there is this whole hurdle of, I still hate cold water. Like, there's nothing about it I actually love, but I love how I feel after. So that's always like my reframe to get me there. I actually had a friend say the other day, she's like, do you think because you go and do like a very hard thing first thing in the morning that it's why you can do hard things for the rest of the day? And I was like, I really had never thought about it that way, but
Mm.
it's so true because you're challenging yourself, you're doing something uncomfortable that is really going to push your resilience and move you ahead. But it's not desirable. I could just as easily stay with my cup of coffee and sit in there bundled up in a little blankie, you know? But I choose otherwise, and it makes you choose otherwise in other circumstances then too. It just trickles down everywhere.
Yeah. And so I want to go into like the product and ChillPod and how you came up with the
Yeah.
name. So have you had
Yeah.
in terms of like creating your business, your brand and your product, and I keep going like this because when you go online and you look at
Yeah.
it, it's such a beautiful product. How
Thank you.
how did then ChillPod come about? How did you then design it? Like, how did it all come together? And then was it, obviously you were talking about, and I'm sorry to hear about your daughter, and it sounds like she's flourishing now, but
Yeah.
you then have made such an impact with a lot of busy professionals, a lot of women in the world. How did you get it
Mhm.
out there? How did you then, I've got all the questions.
Yeah.
It's such a fascinating
Yeah.
way to come up with a business model.
Yeah. It really, I think before I came up with ChillPod, I definitely had like an entrepreneurial nagging in me. I wanted to do something. I had like started a couple other businesses that just didn't take off for the right reasons. I was always trying to side hustle and do a corporate job at the same time. So I think I had like enough seeds planted that by the time the cold plunge came along, it was like, okay, you're ready to go now. And it is wild to me. Maybe it sounds totally woo. I feel like you'll understand this, but like it's wild to me how when you are in alignment with the right thing for you, literally everything falls into place like at the right time. So I was continuing to go in my trough and imagine these ideas, and they were all ideas. Like my mind was filled with them, and I would just reach out to another person and be like, hey, here's what I'm trying to build. I did that for a little bit, and we've built a not great version, not great version of it. So there were like these iterations of it, and then it took, wild as it is, we had a crazy ice storm 2 years ago, and basically a pipe burst in our bathroom. Our whole bathroom was flooded. Like we had all this construction in our house. Well, while we had all these construction people there, I was like, hey, so I'm trying to build this company and I want a female builder. Like, it would be really cool if I could find a woman who would build these for me. And they were like, oh, yeah, I might have someone. Fast forward, and all that to say, I got aligned with these really incredible product designers who could take my head full of ideas and put it in a form. So we
Wow.
came together on that. Yeah, which it was like literally, I don't even know what a product designer is. I don't know. I don't come from this world. I was in marketing and events my whole career before this. And so, it's a little bit of like beginner's mind all the time because I've never created a physical product. Anything I did was always intangible. And so it's just been wild to watch it unfold and find the right people at the right times. And it just keeps unfolding as it goes. And it's just really, really cool to see something you had in your head at one point in time in physical form. It's very
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I totally agree on the alignment piece because the more you force things or the more you push or hustle, it never comes to
Yep.
fruition, does it? You almost have to just,
Mm-mm.
it's like what you're talking about when you're in the cold plunge, or in the chill pod, I should say, is that you're surrendering.
Mhm.
When you're
Yeah.
present, and that's when everything comes to you. It's when you're
Yes.
in the day to day and you're, pushing or you're busy, you've got the 50 million things going on. That's not where the clarity comes from. And
Mm.
that's what I love about
Yeah.
I keep calling it active recovery, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this because us, especially as women, we have so many different hats that we wear.
Mhm.
Trying to stay present for longer than, a few
Yeah.
minutes in a day is quite often, some days you're just like, I've had no time.
Mhm.
And so to be able to get that clarity, to then be able to come up with a business that you've come up with, and then be able to, to even like be in a as much as you're in a bit of a crisis with your place, but then be able to just go, hey, I need a female builder. Do you know of anybody? Like it's those sorts of
Yeah.
things where you're just like, oh, like it's like a
Yeah.
random in itself. Do you know what I mean?
Totally, totally. Like the timing of it is always wild to me. Like, what made me ask those people? Things like that. But I agree. The active recovery piece also, I think, is a reason that I really love the cold plunge because I feel like in today's culture, like there's this whole idea that you should be doing all of these myriad of things to take care of yourself every single day. And like you and I both know, they're not feasible. Like you can't do all those things on an ongoing basis. You will literally run yourself in the ground by trying to do the right things. And so I find that practice really helpful to balance out that expectation because some days, like that is all I get to. That I don't get to go for my walk. I don't get to do a longer meditation. I don't get to do like a lot of the things I would like to do. But on those days, I'm always like, this was enough too. I started my day with that. I know that I did something really good for myself. I've balanced my nervous system back out. I can go and I'm good. So I think there's a lot of power in that small amount of time too, because we can fit that in, you know?
I totally agree. And so for me, that was one of the things that like, I had to learn, and I learned it the hard way in terms of, and my background's marketing, advertising. So, as marketing
Mm-hmm.
events, it's full tilt. It's really busy. And then,
Yes.
you've got all these different things on the go. But the one thing that I was always doing pre the burnout piece, and not taking the active recovery as seriously as I should, was that I was when it came to exercise, or what I thought was a form of active recovery, it was pushing. It was like, going for like a big
Yeah.
run, or
Yeah.
doing all these, cardio classes, or like, like lots of different things. Whereas this is different. This is actually,
Yes.
mindfulness, whatever you want to call it. I call it wholeness because you're talking about,
Hmm.
I call it mind, body, and soul. You're going from
Yeah.
that being disconnected to interconnecting it. And it doesn't have to take, like, when people think about recovery or exercise, oh, that's an hour of my day. But what we're talking about here is like, how long does it, like, how long do you go into the chill pod in the morning for? Like, is it like,
3 minutes. Like it's not very long.
and that's so then a
It's
total
not very
reset,
long.
right? It's a total reset for
Right.
your mind, body, and soul, which, everyone can
Exactly.
manage.
Well, exactly. And I heard one researcher say not that long ago, kind of an interesting idea around like how long should you do it for? Like what should you kind of commit to? And they said they recommended 11 minutes in the week. And I kind of loved that because it wasn't like, okay, I have to be super strict with myself and make sure I do it every day or every other day. It was like, you know what, kind of listen to your body and be like, okay, maybe today's 3 minutes, maybe tomorrow's 30 seconds. And like, but you have this goal over the 7 days of trying to hit this. And I don't know. There's something about that. I love the ability to play with one practice in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that either because I've always been like,
Yeah.
so when women come, because you obviously you've got the chill pod, you've also got what you're doing with women in terms of your website as well. How do
Mhm.
you, are women generally coming to you with, they're exhausted, they're busy, and they're looking for, I guess, to reset themselves? Are they coming to you directly for the chill pod, or is it more holistic? How are they coming to you?
Yeah. Yeah, the Kris Rice wellness thing is more on like the speaking side and trying to help like the masses be just aware of it as a practice and bringing that to people on like a little bigger scale than I used to do one-on-one and things like that. But I think in general, honestly, it's like helping people step over the hurdle because so many people, I don't meet anyone who says, "Oh my God, I can't wait to cold plunge." Everybody says, I don't want to do it. it's awful. Or a lot of times it'll be my husband does it, I don't want to. It's always a resistance factor. And so I feel like my my personal mission in this is to help people step from that like total wall of resistance to what's on the other side of it. Like, but if you could imagine, like, wave your little magic wand, what would you be able to call in? And like, that matters. That intention goes with you in the water, and you literally are like magnetizing that to you. So, again, it might sound woo, but that's everything I've done. Like, I imagined being able to just feel so much stronger in my body and not feel burnout every day, to jump out of bed, like all of these things. And it absolutely is feasible.
Yeah, you've got me. You've got me re-intrigued, re-inspired again. What do you think? Like, is it the cold that's the resistance? What is the resistance? Like, surely, yeah, what is it? Like, because I'm thinking even about myself, what's my
Yeah.
resistance? Because it's cold, but is it really
Right.
cold? What is it? There's something deeper going on that you're resisting, or is it just that it's cold?
Yeah. I, I think it really is. I think there probably is something deeper, but my gut is it's just the cold. And I'm trying to think back to myself 2 years ago. Even today, I still, again, do not like the cold water. Like, there's nothing about it that is comfortable, inviting, any of that. So I think it really is like that level of discomfort is very uncomfortable for people. And you can also come up with 100 different reasons why you don't need or want to go in the cold, whether it's circulation problems or worries that, like, I don't know, anything under the sun, people can come up with, like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I always try and offer people ideas of like small baby steps they can take to try it on their own, just because we all have access to water. Like, you could take a cold shower, you could put your hands in ice water, you could do all these things, and they could be a little stepping stone for you. But I always kind of caveat that with, if you get in the cold shower and you literally detest it, like, try a full submerge because the shower is a tough sell.
Oh
It,
yeah,
for me
no,
included,
yeah, we've always.
it's a hard stop. Like, that's its own ritual and it deserves its own space. Don't mess with that. So
I
it's
don't even like a
absolutely an
cold
option
shower in
for
summer.
people.
Sorry,
Oh,
what you?
no, I hate it. I totally hate it. So I think it really is the cold and just that level of being like deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, right. So you've had the chill pod out. What for? Is it a couple of years you've had it in market for? Is that right?
No, we have been in market, or we've been in production for about a year and a half now, and then we actually just opened up sales this month.
Wow.
So
So it's like sold out, sold out, sold
yeah,
out everywhere. Tell us, okay, so ChillPod,
it did.
like how does it work? Tell us about your product and how does it
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, great question. So there's a couple things that in my mind really set it apart. If you look down in it, oftentimes like in pictures, you can't see it. You've got the cute little shape, and then inside of it is actually a chair. So it's got this big, almost club chair, because I personally love to sit like crisscross. And so I was like, maybe other women like that too. So it's this wide chair so that you can sit crisscross and not have your legs dangling and feel really grounded in there. It even has armrests to put your arms on. So it's got this chair built in to give you a comfortable space in a really uncomfortable scenario. It also has a really incredible performance-based chiller. So, little known fact, most chillers were actually made just to like service either fish tanks or like small like lettuce refrigeration. So we got with this incredible company that has helped us revamp it and literally make a chiller system for the ChillPod. So it is made for businesses, it's made for residential, it can handle whatever you're going to throw at it. And it also goes hot and cold. So you get a little ChillPod and you also get a hot pot.
Oh wow. Gosh, I really want one in Australia. Like I'm like,
Maybe you should come over here and try it first.
no,
Come on
I
over.
know. Absolutely, absolutely. So so residential and businesses, so in terms of
Yeah.
are you like from a wellness perspective, is this not just for like residential? You're talking about taking ChillPod into businesses as well, so that if you're, in work, you've got that opportunity to, actively
Yeah.
recover first thing in the morning, or what I call power up, and then at the end of the day, power down. Is that the whole intention
Mhm.
around it as well?
It is. It
Oh,
is. There's
cool.
so many different ways to bring it into businesses, whether it's, bringing it into your wellness area, maybe on a corporate headquarters, or even bringing it into hospitality. There's been more conversation around wanting mobile units that people can actually, like, if you go into a suite and you're staying there and you're like, hey, I'd like a cold plunge, they can actually like wheel it to your room and actually bring you a cold plunge in your space. So we're kind of like reimagining making that accessible to places because in the past they're really large and they're super heavy and they take a lot of space. And so again, I was like, how can we do this differently? We'll make it compact. It can go through doorways and be able to be moved around to where people are needing and wanting it.
Wow, it's such a cool concept. I absolutely love it.
Thank
And
you.
then are you seeing
Thank
are
you.
you seeing a lot of like in terms of coming back to this resistance piece just quickly, are you seeing
Yeah.
that once kind of get people to take or women to take the baby steps, do they convert?
Yeah.
Like, or is there kind of still that ongoing resistance? Like, how do you like talking about it becoming part of your ritual, your weekly ritual, and back to this 11
Mhm.
minutes piece? How do you make
Yeah.
it become part of your daily, like your ritual and what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Your first one, as far as like people converting, that has been wild and so gratifying to see. When you're able to like have a conversation like this, you would be amazed how many people are like, actually, I can do this. I'm going to do this now. And I've talked to a number of podcast hosts that are like, I'll just do it for research. I'll just see if I want to have a good educated conversation. And then I'll follow up with them and they're like, it's changed my life. Literally, I feel like a different person. Thank you. So, like, that has been this hidden gem that I just didn't even realize. And in my opinion, the key to making it a part of your ritual, this is going to sound self-serving, but it is really the truth, is making it accessible for you. You have to make it easy. You have to remove as many barriers as possible. Like mine is literally right outside. I'm going to grab my coffee in the kitchen and I'm going to go through the sliding door and it's right there. So as much as you can make that simple and you can get right to it, I think really helps. Like that's why I got in the horse trough as much as I did. I would look at it from the window and be like, okay, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go get in. So I just think as many things that you can do like that to make it simple and it's right there for you is great. My other hack is I literally won't change from my pajamas to normal clothes. I have to go to my swimsuit first if I'm gonna do it. So
Yeah, there's like
that's my way to be like, it's gonna happen.
there's little things. In terms of intentions, right? We talked about intentions before. Like, again, from becoming like as part of a ritual. When you're in the chill pod, like you mentioned earlier, and it's like all you can focus on is being in that present moment because that's all you're there for. What's your thoughts on, quite often I'll like if you think about meditation, right? If I'm in a hot therapy like a infrared, I might sometimes throw
Mhm.
a question to myself or have something on my mind. And then when I'm in sitting
Yeah,
there and I'm just sitting there and I'm just being present, the answers just like flow through for me. Like it's almost like
so
it's
true.
meditation for like going 100 miles an hour at me versus me just sitting there and being like having all
Yeah.
these other thoughts and distractions. Is it the
Yep.
same for like does that happen with the chill pod for you as well? Like in terms of and other women that have used your product?
Yeah. I do. That's such a good analogy. And when you think about it, like to some degree, you are taking away all of the distractions, right? Like I personally close my eyes in there usually. And so you're taking out a lot of your senses and you're right there. I would agree with you that in the sauna, I will tend to like kind of get downloads and like I can get those answers I'm looking for. For the cold water, it tends to be after. Like I think
Yeah,
those
right.
like almost the little intentions are set, but it's such a short time. It doesn't always like come to fruition there. But then later in the day, you're like, oh, there it is. So yeah, I think it's similar, just the timing feels a little different to me.
Yeah, right, okay. And then what's your view on the hot and cold? Because obviously the chill pod can
Mm,
like can be heated and chill
yeah.
heat. Like what's the like rules around it? Like is it cold first,
Yeah.
hot second, or is it hot then cold? Like how do you if you're going to interchange
Yeah.
between the two?
Yeah, so in an ideal world, you'd do hot and then go cold. So you'd take your infrared and you would heat your body up for, say, 20 minutes and then go in the cold. Then you could go back to the hot and then back to the cold again. So in an ideal world, you could have like a 50-minute cycle of both of those. But as always, like if you can do one, great. If you can do, one cycle of that, that's awesome. Just know if you do it, especially if you've never done either, the cold will feel so untenably cold when your body has been fully heated. When you go jump in that cold, it will not feel like that normal temperature to you. It will feel exponentially colder.
Yeah, but I keep like I mean, and I'll let you go. I've got a couple more questions, but you've really tapped into
Yeah.
something for me in terms of we're in a world that is super complex, like it's getting more and more hectic, there's more and more
Mhm.
distractions, you brought up mental health. Mental health is everywhere, there's this loneliness, there's disconnection, and yet there's
Mhm.
this opportunity to then also put ourselves in situations where we can either resist what's going on and almost burrow down and ignore that the world is changing rapidly and there's all these different things happening, or we can learn to become comfortable being uncomfortable. And what we're talking about here
Yep.
is exactly what you're doing with the chill pod in terms of this is uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
we have a choice. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's something
Yeah.
really interesting
Yes.
in that concept, and I don't know where I'm going with it. But like, even when I think about, my own experience, and it's uncomfortable, having to go through what I've been through, probably uncomfortable what you've been through as
Yeah.
well. So then,
Sure.
how do that's the resilience or what I call the anti-fragility piece for me around
Mhm.
bouncing forward, continuing to be okay with
Yeah.
nothing is going to be linear. It's always going to be like this. So why not harness it and put yourself into
Yeah.
uncomfortable pods, if you like? Yeah.
I Exactly. It's only going to make you braver, more resilient, and also like I think it also helps you know your limits too. I
Yeah.
hadn't really thought about that before you said that, but I really think there's something there too of you have to be able to listen to your body, whether it's in heat or cold, like either extreme, you need to be able to listen to what your body is telling you. And for years, I had zero connection to that. Like I
Same,
would just keep forward
same.
as, keep pushing and keep pushing. And so I honestly think the cold has really been a game changer for me on that because if I do push myself further, like, so say I stay in too long or I've notched the temperature down and it's way too cold, my feet will stay cold for hours. And it's a reminder of, you know what? You did not honor yourself in that moment.
Yeah,
You
you
knew you
pushed.
could have gotten out and you
Yeah.
didn't listen in that time. And so I think that also, again, I mentioned it before, but I still think there's something there of that listening to what your body's telling you in that moment and then actually being able to do that in real life, however that looks for boundaries, right? Like, however that is playing out for you is something that we don't like talk about that much.
No, and even in my business, we need to talk about it more. Like it needs to become baked
Hmm.
into everything we're doing because we
Yep.
are so like ingrained not to listen to what our body's telling us, and yet so this is a perfect
Hmm.
opportunity. Okay, so I'm like, haven't I've tried cold plunge. I'm not like, yeah, I've got that massive resistance. What would be
Yeah.
What would be your advice to me if I was to start to do it tomorrow, for example? Like, what would you recommend?
So I would recommend, so there's kind of like two variables to play with. There's time and then there's temperature. So if you go somewhere, you mentioned you went in the ocean, which I'm very jealous of. I do not have the ocean nearby to be able to do
Mine's
that.
just down the road, the
But if,
bay. It's like 10,
oh,
10 minute walk max. Yeah.
you're killing me. That sounds so lovely. But if you don't have the ocean, or if you have the ocean, okay. So if you've got the ocean and it's winter for you right now, like I would challenge you to go and try it for the minimum time that you can stand it. So, have your suit on, like maybe you go from your pajamas to your suit and then you be able to go in there. And then I would always just say do it for maybe 30 seconds, something like that, where it's enough that you did it. And if you feel nothing different, then you know you can do it for longer. If you felt kind of like a shift and change from that, then you're like, okay, I'm onto something. So it's kind of like meditation where like worst case, you might fall asleep or take a nap or something, but like best case, you start to feel some of those changes from it. And so same thing with that. I would just say start small and do it in these tiny ways and just try and build on that until you start noticing like, oh, something's a little different. And then that's different for everyone.
And is it consecutive days? Because when I did it like for quite, and this was like in the thick of coming out of my burnout. Like I was doing the infrared, I
Uh-huh.
was doing this, and I felt exhilarated. Like
Nice.
I was like, and then,
Yeah.
like I said, I got a blocked ear, and that was it. And like it was like like fully,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, body's telling me you've gone from one
Yep.
extreme to the other. My nervous system was still operating up
Hmm.
here. Like how many consecutive days? This is like about creating a habit, right? Like what would you
Yeah.
recommend? And what do you recommend to women doing this?
I think at the end of the day, like we all want to have kind of a prescription for what that can look like, but I would lean back to that time per week and then think
Yeah.
about what you want from that because I think you have to listen to your own body in that situation. So I'll give you my example of like, I tend to plunge probably 4 or 5 times a week. So I know that if I do it every single day, my body, it's a little too taxing on it. So I like it pretty cold. I do it like in the 40s Fahrenheit. And so that adds up by a few days in. I'm like, okay, my body's actually like needing a little break from that. So I try and get in like an every other day cadence for me, works really well. But I know other people are like, no, if I don't do it every day, I would feel like I wouldn't feel the same. So it's kind of a
Works for
choose your own
you.
adventure.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. How do we find out more about ChillPod, Chris, knowing it's not available yet in Australia, but it's definitely online and in the USA?
Yeah, and tell me you want it there, and maybe we can make that happen.
We want it in, I have not seen it. So like it's yeah, and I'm definitely always looking at this sort of thing. But yeah, I just like
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, we do need it in Australia. I need to spread the word more.
Spread the word, and we'll try and get it right over. But you can check it out at thechillpod.co for our website, and that's the handle on Instagram too. So it's just at thechillpod.co. And if you want to hear more of like my behind the scenes or founder story, that kind of thing, you can follow me at Kris Rice Wellness, and it's Kris with a K.
Oh, I love the yeah, I love that. I love that so much. What would be your
Thank
last, what
you.
your one piece of wisdom for anyone who is I don't even know. Like, what would be so like? Do you have any wise words to finish the show?
Let's see. I think cheesy as it sounds, but it was the one thing that popped in my mind was like, follow the things that light you up because that's what led me to this. And those things matter. Like they might seem so obscure and so unconnected to anything else. Like it still blows my mind that I have created this product and it is sitting in my backyard and people use it. Like it blows my mind. And I said no to it for a long time. And I can remember the minute that it shifted and I was like, actually, yes. And so if you're like on the fence and having that moment, like lean into it. It's totally worth it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kris. You've made my morning. You really have made my morning. And
Oh, I'm
I'm
so
gonna start
glad.
pole plunging again. I'll let you know how I go,
Well,
but
get your ear well, and then you can do it.
yeah, I'm gonna do it. I can't do it tomorrow morning. See, I've already got an excuse, but I actually can't. But I'm gonna give it a go on Friday and we'll let you know how I go. I look forward
Let
to
me know, will you?
yeah, I will, and I'll look forward to seeing ChillPod in Australia sometime soon. But thank you
Yes.
so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed our chat. It's been incredible, and active
Likewise.
recovery is so integral in our lives. And yeah, what you're doing is amazing. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for this conversation. I really loved it.
Yeah, me too. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, Kris.